all of these, and notice that what we've got here are three angles, some positive, some negative, and they're all not acute. So none of them are between 0 and 90. Okay, so what we've got to do is write each of these either as a positive sine, cosine, or tangent of an acute angle, or it might be negative. And in each case, what will help is to draw the cast diagram. Okay, so let's just draw a quick cast diagram here. Remember, it just looks like this, and then we put on the letters A, S, T, and C. Now, what that means is that in this quadrant here, all ratios, sine, cosine, and tangent, are positive. In this one, sines are positive and the rest are negative. In this one, tan is positive and the rest are negative. And in this one, cosines are positive and the rest negative. And remember, this is 0, and we mark positive angles going in that direction, anti-clockwise, and negative angles going in this direction, clockwise. So the first thing we do is we think, where on the diagram is minus 100 degrees? Well, it's going to be in this direction. Okay, and 100 degrees, well, it's 90 round as far as there, so 100 degrees takes us round into this quadrant. So I'm going to mark it, don't try and draw it accurately. Okay, so this angle here is 100 degrees. It's usually easier if you draw this line so it is, you know, so it's just roughly in the middle. Don't try and draw it to scale. Right, the next thing you need to do is always, every single time, find the angle that is made with the x-axis. Okay, now in this case, if this is 100, then this angle here must be 80 degrees. So that means that the sine of minus 100 degrees is either, so the answer is either going to be sine 80, and notice that 80 is an acute angle, or it might be minus sine 80 degrees. So it could be positive and it could be negative. Well, what we do now is we look at which section this line has been drawn in. We can see that the line is in the T section, which means that tangents will be positive, but which means that sines and cosines will be negative. So in fact, sine of minus 100 degrees can't be sine 180. It must be the same as minus sine 80 degrees. Okay, let's go on to the next one. Okay, the next one, cos 330 degrees. So again, let's draw our cast diagram. So there's A, S, T, and C. And this time, 330 degrees is a positive angle. So we're going to go in this direction. And in fact, we're going to go around 90, 180, 270, 330 is over in this section here. Okay, so I'm going to draw a line there to mark the angle. So this angle is 330 degrees. Again, we're going to find the angle which is made with the x-axis. So that's the angle between this line and the x-axis. So this angle here, well, if this one's 330, then this one must be 30 degrees, which means that cos 330, we've got to think, is it the same as cos 30 degrees? Is it going to be cos 30, or is it going to be minus cos 30 degrees? Now, if we have a look at which angle this line, which section the line is in, it's actually in the C section, which means that cosines are positive. So actually, cos 330 is exactly the same as cos 30. Okay, so we've succeeded there. Right, do the next one. Tan of 500 degrees. Again, draw the cast diagram. Okay, we do the A, S, T, C, and we think 500 degrees, well, that's a positive angle, so all the way around is 360. Another 90 takes me to 450, so 500 degrees is going to be in this section here. So I'll mark it. So the black that I've drawn there is 500 degrees. Now, if that's 500 degrees, remember it was 450 degrees round to there. It's going to be 540 round to here. So this angle here, the angle made with the x-axis, as always, is going to be 40 degrees. And the section that it's in, well, the line that we've drawn is in the S section, which means that tangents will be negative. So in this case, tan of 500 degrees is not going to be the same as tan 40 degrees. It's going to be the same as minus tan 40 degrees. And that's the answer to that one. Okay, for these questions, and these are the ones like in exercise 10b, you should be able to actually find the value, and you're not supposed to use a calculator, of all the sines, cosines, and tangents in this exercise. Now remember, you already know how to find the sine, cosine, and tangent of 0, 30, 45, 60, and 90 degrees. Okay, so I suggest when you do exercise 10b, you draw out this table. It's a good memory test anyway, and you use that in order to work out the answers. Okay, so you're going to use the cast diagram, and you're going to do the same as you did for exercise 10a. So draw the cast diagram. So there's your A, S, T, C, and think, remember that's a positive direction, that's a negative direction. Think where 210 degrees is. Well, if it's a negative direction, it's going to be, that's minus 90, minus 180, minus 210 is going to be about there. So this angle here is minus 210, which means that this part here, well, we know that it's 180 round from there to there, which means that this bit here must be 30. So we know now that the sine of minus 210 degrees is going to be either sine 30 or it might be negative sine 30. If we look at which section we've drawn this line in, though, the line that we've drawn for our angle of minus 210 degrees is in the S section, which means that sines will be positive. So in fact, sine of minus 210 is just sine 30 degrees, which means it is just a half. Okay, and all you do if you end up with a minus sign in front is you just make this final answer negative. Okay, quite straightforward.